What's up, everybody? It is Ebontis here, and we are going to be checking out the TWAB. This week has been crazy for news. I'm going to do this as a live reading, though, so whatever happens, happens. We have already covered the Witch Queen ViDoc. We got that one Tuesday morning. Yesterday, I put out a Witch Queen leveling guide, so if you are looking for that one, check out that video. Link will be in the description and also at the end of the video. We got Void 3.0 information, which I may kind of lump into this one today as well, but I think they're actually going to cover a lot of it again. And then, of course, we have the TWAB today, which looks like we're actually talking about the campaign and a couple of other things as well. So, lots of information to discuss here. But I think it's just kind of a big culmination of what's going on this week. So this week at Bungie, we showed off a heck of a lot, including more 3.0 goodness. We're also getting some legendary campaign expectations alongside a special tribute to our heroes. That looks actually pretty cool. The legendary campaign expectations I've seen a little bit on Twitter from a couple people as well, so I'm sure they're just clarifying what's made it into other articles, it looks like. The Witch Queen finally arrives later this month, and we have a lot of new information. The ViDoc break down many things asking for regarding Void 3.0. That's its own article. I'm going to cover some of the details on that here just to kind of put it in a combination. So we'll get back to Void 3.0, but I want to see what they discuss in here first because they could touch on a lot of it. Full ViDoc, though, it's about 13-14 minutes long. Go watch it. Very cool stuff if you are trying to avoid spoilers. Obviously, by the thumbnail alone, now is your time to check out and go radio silent. Feeling like the rest of us and can't wait to jump into the next chapter of the story, we can, and while we wait, the gift to the community, an interactive experience that now centers around Savathûn itself. So actually go check out the interactive trailer. I just dropped a video on it. It gives a really cool history on the Hive and the history of what Savathûn kind of has been doing, playing this puppet master, pulling a lot of strings. It's definitely worth knowing the backstory of Savathûn as we head into Witch Queen, kind of focusing on her as well. So yeah, you can check that one out right after you read the TWAB. Void 3.0. So I want to see what they cover because I don't need to double up and read the Void article, and it's all right here. Another juicy tidbit that you may have missed is the hefty new blog post that offers a closer look at the revamped Void subclass. To read the full breakdown, check it out there, but here are a few key points, and it looks like they're going to cover quite a bit. We actually do get screenshots for all the classes, which is cool because I can finally see what the Titan looks like. Introduction of aspects and fragments. First introduced with Stasis with Beyond Light. This offers players more options. Aspects are class specific. Fragments are non-class specific perks that kind of enhance how they play. And then the aspects are the things that really tweak the way you use your Void abilities. Titans, Word of Dawn can now be almost instantly activated while becoming the fastest super cooldown tier for ease of access. This makes Word of Dawn even more powerful defensive tool. So they did actually show that for the Titan. The Word of Dawn is its own super choice now. You just pick the Word of Dawn super instead of like a longer hold down for the cool time, and it's basically instantaneous to cast it, like most other supers starting, so that bubble can be used in a very defensive way. They describe it in PvP. If somebody's up in the air about to cast a Blade Barrage, you can pop your bubble and probably survive. So your use of it in a much quicker defensive state is actually kind of a good thing. Sentinel Shield will let Titans harness their inner Captain America, with Throne Shields providing range damage, and a Shield Bash grants a full overcharge, or overshield, which is good. Titan aspects include Controlled Demolition, Bastion, Offensive Bulwark, so we'll go into a little bit of detail. I will pop over to Void 3.0 after we get done with this. Hunters, still got that Void Dagger. Hunters will be the epitome of stealth, now with even more control over what their enemies see or don't see. The Mobius Quiver changes, fires off a volley of like 3 arrows and then 3 arrows, and they can track targets and they make them volatile. They cover words for Void. Volatile basically means if they are volatile and they take enough damage or they die, they will explode in Void detonation, which is a really cool thing for the Titan middle tree. I always love the chain explosions that happen, so that'll actually be fun to do. Deadfall. We'll see the Void anchors like actually pull enemies in, kind of a suction effect, to the desired location from surface or target impact. The Snare Bomb, melee, will also do more to weaken the opponent. That's one of the verbs that Void does. We've got, particularly in PvP, when it removes an enemy player's HUD and obstructs their view in game. The weaken is actually a thing where you will take more damage, slow them down, they're disoriented. It does all of those. The Snare Bomb will be kind of a potent thing. Hunter aspects include Trapper Ambush, Vanishing Step, and Stylish Executioner. For the Warlocks, they've given the most information on the Warlocks so far. Float like a Warlock, sting like a bee, because Void 3.0 fine-tunes what makes Warlocks so valuable and makes them truly a force to be reckoned with. The Nova Warp Super with the Vortex Super Enhancement allows players to teleport efficiently to unleash the ultimate Void attack while drawing enemies in and trapping them within a web of damage. So it almost seems like the Nova Warp is going to have some type of Vortex suction to it. That seems really interesting. If maybe you're charging, you suck everybody in, and then you explode, you blow them away. Nova Bomb with Cataclysms. You've kind of got different modifications on Nova Bomb. That's going to allow for more control when Warlocks are on the hunt for enemies to take out. So in particular, in PvP instances, and detonations will disperse into smaller tracking projectiles, shoot the Nova Bomb early. So your Cataclysm is the slow travel one, I believe. Void 3.0 with the Pocket Singularity. That's their new melee ability that they've got. Unleashes Void that detonates when near foes, making them volatile and while controlling their position in relation to the blast zone. So they describe the new melee, makes the enemies volatile, so if you do enough damage or they die, they will explode. Also, you're going to push them back. So picture that in a PvP situation with maybe a shotgun rusher, you're going to be able to push them away. Seems very beneficial to Voids to kind of control that middle game. Warlock's aspects include Chaos Accelerant, Feed the Void, and Child of the Old Gods. Okay, so what about new lights? That's a good question you asked. New lights and new players, as we refer to them, will be able to earn their first aspects and fragments during the New Light campaign. During the Schism mission, players will acquire a new quest called Learning Light, which teaches them more about their subclass abilities. More aspects and fragments can be unlocked by visiting Ikora Ray in the tower. New lights are probably going to be a little confused because Arc and Solar are not going to work the same way as Void, but I guess they're just kind of in this transitionary period. There's only so much they can do. In addition, new characters have also had the starting subclass experience changed. Not only will new Hunters and Titans be starting with Void subclass instead of Solar and Arc, all classes will now start with Void subclasses abilities to be more friendly and appealing to new players. All right. Hunter is going to start with the Mobius Quiver, the Marksman Dodge, the Triple Jump, the Snare Bomb, and the Scatter Grenade. Titans are going to start with the Sentinel Shield, Towering Barricade, Catapult Lift, Shield Throw, and Magnetic Grenade. It feels so weird to talk about new lights unlocking their abilities, but that is still a thing. Warlocks start with the Nova Bomb Vortex version, so that's the faster traveling one that has the Vortex at the end. Class ability, Healing Rift, that's the important one. Burst Glide, that's the popular jump. Pocket Singularity, and the Vortex Grenade. There's a lot to look forward to in Void 3.0, and we can't wait to see what you think when you're in front and center. To learn more, including more about fragments, the full blog post can be found right here to be devoured. See what we did there. So I'm going to switch over to that real quick to see what we actually didn't touch. Just because I know there's some stuff in here, and then we will get back to the TWAB. But basically, this is the big first rework for any of the light subclasses, literally since 2017. So it's been a while. The big things they talk about are the elemental kind of properties are all going to have verbs that they describe to go with them. So Void is going to have Suppress. You're going to not be able to use your abilities. You're going to, not have any movement abilities. Combats are disoriented. Weaken. You take more damage. You're slowed and disoriented. Volatile. Targets will explode into Void detonation upon taking additional damage. Or if they die, they're also going to detonate. Invisibility. Pretty straightforward. Overshield. Also pretty straightforward. Devour. Players immediately restored to full health upon activating Devour from any source and is granted grenade energy. When the player gets any kill with Devour, they are restored to full health, granted grenade energy, and their Devour buff timer is extended. So those are the main verbs. They kind of show some videos in here, and this is some stuff we've already talked about. Basically, Ward of Dawn is now going to be the shortest recharge time, along with the Well of Radiance. So the support supers are going to be fast recharge, and the Ward of Dawn is also instantaneous, so they kind of touch on that being a thing. They also mentioned Shield Throw. That's going to allow you to, basically have the shield throw. I think that's also going to be a new melee ability kind of switch that we've got, which will be nice to have just the shield throw as a melee option. It says it's going to apply volatile if controlled demolition is equipped, which is one of the aspects. And shield bash kills, which is, I think, the shoulder charge. That's going to grant a full overshield, which is nice. So the aspects for the Titan, controlled demolition, hitting a target with a void ability or volatile detonation will make them volatile, so you can kind of get the chain volatile detonations. That's the fun one to do. Bastion, casting barricade generates an overshield for you, yourself, and nearby allies. Those bunkering behind your shield will regenerate overshield over time and extend its duration. They basically show it's about a 10-second overshield timer, and if you go run back behind your wall, you can actually recharge the overshield and reset the timer. So Titans seem to be leaning heavily into overshield. Also, you've got offensive bulwark. While you have overshield or you are inside Ward of Dawn, grenades charge significantly faster, and you have increased melee damage. So overshield is really going to be a big thing for Titans, because while you have that overshield, you're getting your grenade back faster. Also, you do more melee damage, so you're harder to kill and punch harder, which, you know, that kind of embraces the Titan fantasy. You also gain an additional shield throw for your Sentinel Shield Super. Hunters, this is kind of where they break down what the Deadfall and the Mobius Quiver supers look like, where you can kind of see the differences between them. They covered a lot of that already, same with the Snare Bomb. They do cover the aspects though. Trapper's Ambush. Players can activate Quickfall to spend their melee charge and dive to the ground, creating a smoke cloud upon impact. Void enemies caught in the cloud are weakened, and allies become invisible. So you literally jump up in the air, smash to the ground, disorient, create a smoke cloud, you can go invisible. It's honestly kind of crazy. In addition, snare bombs attach to enemy surfaces, causing nearby enemies or allies to become invisible. Vanishing Step. This is just going to be on every hunter in PvP now. Dodging makes the hunter invisible. Just a dodge. That's going to mess with so many people. If you get close to them and they dodge, that is going to be a mess, but that will be very powerful, I'm sure. That's probably one of those that has like one fragment slot, I would imagine. Stylish Executioner. Defeating a void buff target, weakened, suppressed, or volatile, grants invisibility and true sight. While invisible, after a stylish execution, your next melee attack weakens enemies. So you can weaken it, and then if you defeat a void buff that's weakened, you're going to be invisible again. So hunters are going to really embrace that invisibility. So warlocks, they talked about the different super feels, where you've got the slow Nova Bomb, the bigger Nova Bomb with the Vortex, kind of more of the pull-in effect. You've got the Nova Warp with a little bit of a tweak now. The Pocket Singularity Melee, we already discussed that one pretty briefly. The aspects are Chaos Accelerant. Hold down Grenade button to overcharge your Vortex, Axiom Bolt, Scatter, and Magnetic Grenades. Magnetic Grenades overcharge into Handheld Supernova. And basically, every class has all the grenades. Every Titan Hunter and Warlock all have every Void Grenade. Void Wall, Spike, Magnetic, Scatter. You have them all. Some may get buffed by your class, some not, but you literally have access to every grenade, which is honestly very cool. Feed the Void. Defeat an enemy with a Void ability to activate Devour. Devour. It's going to be on a lot, I have a feeling. Child of the Old Gods. This is new. They do have a video over it, but I'm not going to play it right here. Basically, you cast your Rift, you get a little Void Soul. When you damage an enemy, the Void Soul goes out and tracks it. And then what it does, it starts draining, it attaches draining tendrils to those enemies around you. It will deal damage and weaken the target, so you'll actually be able to do more damage to it. Or weaken, hold on. Weaken is do more increased damage. Yep. They take increased damage. I just want to make sure my terminology is right. So you're going to weaken them so they take more damage. You're going to be doing damage. And when your Void Soul deals damage, it's either going to restore melee and grenade energy if you're standing in a healing rift, or it's going to give you health if you're standing in an empowering rift. So if you have Devour, you're standing in an empowering rift, your little Void Soul is giving you health back, and your Devour is giving you health, and you're doing more damage from your empowering rift, the cycle is going to be up a lot. Devour, very powerful. Warlocks, I don't think you've got too much to complain about here. Seems very powerful. Defeating an enemy who is also being drained grants Rift energy, so you can start the cycle all over again. Try to talk this much and tell me if you don't stumble over your words a couple times. Sorry. A lot of words. Let's see. They also cover a few of the fragments. Some of these sound honestly just insane. Echo of Expulsion. Void ability kills cause enemies to explode. Intellect bonus. That's just going to pair really nicely with the Titan chain explosion things, which is always fun. Damaging enemies with grenades grants melee energy. Strength penalty. That one still just makes me scratch my head, because if you damage an enemy with a grenade, you get melee energy, but you have less strength, so your super recharge is slower. Why you have to, like, hit it, I don't know. That seems so backwards to me, and I don't know why that's there. Echo of Dawn, you better get a lot of melee energy if you have less strength for it. It just seems odd. Echo of Domineering. After suppressing a target, gain greatly increased mobility for a short duration, and your equipped weapon is reloaded from reserves. Get a discipline bonus. This is the one that everybody's probably going to use. If you see people without this, I'm going to be surprised. Void grenades weaken enemies. That is basically Oppressive Darkness, which was the artifact mod. Now it is on all Void Grenades. All of them. All the time. So having a grenade build, it's going to be pretty powerful. And you are going to take a discipline penalty in that one, so you're going to have to kind of make up for that in places. But that is the main stuff they cover. They do give an example of like a Titan has several ways to earn Overshield. Use the Bastion aspect to create a barricade and grant an Overshield. Use the Shield Throw to grant an Overshield. And the Void Shoulder Charge can also restock that as well. So that's the idea, is like Void 3.0 is very, very cool. I think that covers a lot of what they were trying to discuss. And I think we hit on all the high points. Now we know what the new characters are going to get kind of guaranteed from the start. It is still going to feel weird that they get their Void subclass with aspects and fragments, and then Solar and Arc, of course, are going to be feeling very different. Now we know in future seasons we're going to get Solar and Arc a same Solar 3.0, Arc 3.0. Just going to be a weird 6 months until all that stuff is squared away. Legendary campaign. This is actually pretty exciting. Some Guardians have been asking for more of a challenge, so as the team here at Bungie has created the new Legendary Campaign mode that will arrive when Witch Queen drops. And the thing about the Legendary Campaign mode, they may say it, but it's not a higher level. You can literally play the Legendary version as the first time you play the campaign. From reward drops to how it will differ on a base level, we want to just dive into a little bit deeper on this new challenge, what it has to offer. To do that, we asked design lead Matt McConnell, offering some insight and some most frequently asked questions. What are the main rewards of completing missions at Legendary difficulty? We've got double chest rewards, offering 1 to 3 extra chests per mission. And they've also described in the Twitter post that some of the missions in the Witch Queen campaign are going to feel kind of like dungeons. You're going to have like encounters and like checkpoints, basically. So if you go through a dungeon, you do a certain encounter, you get a chest at the end, and you move on. The Witch Queen campaign missions are also going to have some of that feel. Again, they are going full send on this campaign. Definitely going to be probably one of their coolest campaigns I think they've ever done. This is going to rival Forsaken, Taken King. I think this is going to rival every campaign and potentially be one of their best. I'm very excited to play this. Legendary players will be able to earn Throne World armor and unlocks at a faster rate. Basically, higher risk means higher reward, especially in getting the new power level, getting to the new power level soft cap. And that's the other idea, is if you're getting multiple drops from multiple chests in a mission, all the gear that you're going to get is going to build up that like soft cap power level as you're playing through the campaign. And it's honestly going to be in your benefit to do so, especially if you, and they also mentioned the Legendary campaign has player scaling. So whether you're solo or 3 players, you should have a balanced challenge. You going in by yourself is not going to make it completely awful. Going into 3 people is going to ramp things up, maybe beefier enemies. You're going to definitely feel a difference. I love this like thumbnail art that they did for the missions. This is just such a cool picture with the Void Hive Knight, the Solar Acolyte, and then the Arc, basically Wizard, and then you got the Guardians here to go with it. Are there any unique rewards for completing the story on Legendary difficulty? Completing all missions. This does require all, not part. All missions on Legendary will award players with the following: a new emblem exclusive to those who complete the campaign at Legendary difficulty, a triumph required for the newest title for Throne World, a set of gear 20 above the soft cap at 1520. Yeah, you're going to want to play this. Like, go. This is huge. If you're going to go do the Legendary campaign, you finish all the missions, and you get a set of gear at 1520. 1520 is a massive power jump because that's 20 levels of your power grind. That is huge. That takes away so much of the powerful grind now. You're going to probably now, between the 2 weeks we have before the day 1 raid, you're probably going to hit 1550 if you really kind of go efficiently through it. The way I've described in my previous video, the link in the description and at the end. If you take your characters through the right order of your powerful engrams, pinnacle engrams, plus you do it on Legendary difficulty on all your characters, that is bonkers. Like, that's going to be the priority, I would say, almost first before any other powerful gear. Do that, that's going to be huge. Yeah, a set of gear 20 above the soft cap at 1520. Massive. Do it on Legendary, well worth it, even if you die a few times. Like, extra time in there, massively above it. 8 upgrade modules, nice. The new Witch Queen exotic armor that is typically reserved for the lot PED. I don't know what that means. Player end drops or something. Anyway, new Witch Queen exotic armor that is typically reserved for Lost Sector drops. So if you do it all missions on Legendary, you're going to just like swim in rewards. Exclusive Bungie reward, more on that in the future. Do it on Legendary, please. I know it's going to be harder. You may die more, but I promise you, the set of gear above it The upgrade modules is nice, and then you're actually potentially going to get the exotic for your class for the Witch Queen. There's 2 exotics, 1 stasis and 1 not stasis. Yeah, you're probably going to get one of the 2 exotics. This is the biggest reason right here. I cannot say this enough. Legendary is so worth it. To me, it's worth it. I mean, honestly, that's going to save you a lot of the powerful and Pinnacle leveling piece. Some players have been asking if this is a difficulty to be feared. How challenging is it? To set difficulty expectations, the Legendary campaign is designed to be harder than a Legend Nightfall, though it is easier than a solo dungeon or running a Grandmaster Nightfall. It's not going to be a joke. It is going to be rough. So that is fair. Enemies are more difficult and more aggressive. They have a higher damage resistance. They are more of a challenge to stagger, and shields are stronger to unmatched damage types. So it's not match game per se, but it is definitely there. Harder to stagger, so you're going to take a few more shots before you may get them to stagger. And they just have a higher damage resistance in general. They're going to be hard to kill. I'm not saying it's not going to be easy. And maybe you go through it first, and maybe you find a group to go with just so you guys can help revive each other. But I will say, like, if you can knock out the legendary difficulty before you get to, like, really get into that power grind, it's going to be a massive jump. That's all I'm saying. Is like, it's probably not going to be easy by reading this if they're saying it's like Legend Nightfall, smidge more. Not Master Nightfall, Legend Nightfall. Once you're at decent level, it's not so bad. Depending on when you do it, though, it's going to feel spicy. But the 1520 is going to be interesting. The challenge of Legendary also comes from switching up enemy interactions and infiltration, like swapping out an elite for a boss or having an influx of more red bar foes. Can I overlevel this content? Each mission caps your power, similar to raid contest mode, so that all Guardians have an even playing field to avoid feeling like every step is a grind. The mission launch screen will have a skull display each mission's max effective power, so it'll be good to know where you are. If you are underleveled, be prepared for a bit of a tough fight. So maybe if you like go through the soft cap and you go play back through them as you're kind of leveling up through them. But all I can say is, like, if you can get the legendary campaign done before you hit the soft cap of 1500, you're going to help yourself vastly in the leveling department. I have said that 20 times, but it is huge. That is a big thing they've never done. The mighty are forged in battle, but it is that way for solo players. We've had a lot of aspirational content in the past, but legendary gave us a chance to give solo players more equal footing with those that opt into playing with a fire team. Enemy damage and health scales to match your fire team, though it won't be 1-to-1 because triple boss health isn't fun. Even still, it will be enough to keep a veteran trio on their ornamented toes. We also didn't want to trivialize darkness encounters compared to solo play, so you're limited to 1 revive per player for each darkness zone, and a shared timer of 40 seconds before an automatic wipe happens. We've said it time and time again, but you have to stay close to your friends and be ready to pick them up when they fall. Will players be able to tone things down if Legendary is a bit too much for their playthrough? For folks who find difficulty of Legendary too overwhelming at first, there's an option to leave the mission and relaunch through the classic Destiny 2 settings. Some players will want to focus more on the story than a sweat run at first, and that's totally fine. We want to support that. For those who want more of a challenge later, we've added nodes to replay any Witch Queen campaign mission on Classic or Legendary anytime, after you've beaten the mission once, of course. Basically, be prepared to go ham, but the choice is yours to do how you want to. So yeah, Legendary campaign sounds going to be tough. I mean, you're talking Legend Nightfall, smidge above that. Not quite a dungeon for a solo player, so I mean, for me, it's going to feel manageable for most solo players. Guides will be coming, I'm sure. But the value of getting that done as early as you can, especially if you get a couple people with you and you can kind of manage the group, it's going to be doable, but it's going to be tough. I'm very excited for what they have on that one. But the fact that you can go from 1500 to 1520 and skip 20 levels of that powerful and pinnacle grind, when you then start doing your powerfuls and then your pinnacles, that 20 points ahead is huge. If you guys watch the video where I talk about leveling up, that's basically what I'm going to say. While you're in that soft cap level, now just basically insert that legendary campaign before you get there. And then when you get to start doing your powerfuls, start doing your survival grind for glory and valor to get your powerfuls there. Then when you do your pinnacles, by the time you get going to your second character, like, that's huge. And then if your secondary character can also get that done, then it's going to start that level grind even higher. Yeah, you're gonna have no problem. Honestly, if you can get the legendary campaign done, day one raid is probably going to be very attainable for everybody in contest level. That 15-20 jump is big. The Destiny 2 community is one of the best in gaming, and we want to celebrate how incredible each and every Guardian is. We're at 26 minutes, so I'm not sure how much more we have. Let's see. Whether it be our revived community-focused spotlights, the incredible charity initiatives like the Guardians of the World, or player-driven initiatives like Operation Save the New Lights to help Guardian newbies save through new content, there's a lot to be thankful for when looking at the Destiny player base. One more way we are celebrating the majesty of all of your gun-toting fashionistas out there is through a new series, Heroes Welcome. A new ongoing video adventure that will focus on players themselves in a vibrantly explosive tribute as seen in the style of our kickoff video below. First video is just the beginning in the feature series. We will directly showcase real players within the community to bring you Destiny 2 Legends to life, where we aim to inspire new lights around the world. Heroes Welcome is celebrating the determined lone wolves and the lone fire team members. It's all about taking on space wizards, tickle fingers made out of pure pain, and melting a boss face with the artillery like 1,000 voices. It's about those selfless guardians that help guide new players on their journey into learning what it means to be a guardian. It's about those heroes who are always standing by with that revive or that carry to the lighthouse. It's about expert fighters and newcomers alike. It's about the power behind the mask and the heart beneath the epic exotic breastplate. It's about the sense of accomplishment when finally emerging victorious after a brutal raid, and about the friends that were made along the way. I'll have to see that one because that actually sounds really cool. Are you ready to join the future of Destiny 2? Good, because heroes are always welcome. As an example, one of Destiny heroes we're talking about is none other than the incredible Amaze. If you haven't followed Amaze on Twitter, amazing guy to watch, very entertaining, very skilled guy, but very nice guy as well. Please go follow him if you haven't. We had him on the podcast on Last Word a while ago. Probably need to bring him back on again, but very, very good dude. Oh, and you thought we were done? Oh, nay. We have even more community-driven videos to enjoy. So this is all your community-made videos that you've got, which are usually here. And they also cover the new exotics as well, because in case we don't have enough, then we've got more. These days, Destiny 2 literally has a fashion show, so I think we're going long past the days of pretending Destiny isn't a massive flex of gear and those sweet, sweet dance moves. It's all fun and games when Destiny class war until somebody takes it seriously. So without further ado, let's dive into all the goodness of all three classes have in store to their additional insight from the developer team. Okay, the Loreley Splendor Helm for Titans is more than just a pretty face. That looks so cool, though. Like the wings on the front, the little gold outlines. It has the Cauterizing Flame perk that allows for sunspots to heal players when they have Sun Warrior. Critically wounded? No big. The perk also ensures that a sunspot created in your location to give you that one last fighting chance, that quick grenade and melee ability to recharge, and longer supers. Plus, more damage. Always a good thing. Damn. So if you're critically wounded while you have this on, you literally create a sunspot where you are. I love the solar tree for that one. And again, when we get Solar 3.0, this is eventually going to be amazing. But yeah, this one actually sounds really cool. Playtest name, Stag Spot Helm. The goal here was to embrace the awesome art and to give Sunspot players another choice besides Phoenix Cradle, which is true. You pretty much play that one if you play that super. Also, melee builds are becoming more popular, and this makes giving high-level difficulty melee more viability, at least in theory. Definitely, I'm going to be going after that one for the Titans, for sure. The Titan Hoarfrost chest piece is also nothing to scoff at. This one takes a chiller approach to combat for Stasis users with the Glacial Fortification perk. When a player uses Stasis, it allows for a Titan's Barricade to become an impressive wall of Stasis crystals. These crystals will allow any target that gets close. These crystals will slow any target that gets close. Okay, that's cool. While also boosting a player and their fire team's weapon, reload speed, stability, and range. Damn. That's big. Like, that basically makes your wall reload speed, stability, range, slow stuff that gets at you. That's massive. Like, that gives the Stasis subclass, while I don't love the super, that wall is very, very important. The original idea was to replace barricades with just a single block of ice, but The abilities team had some ideas and stuff lying around from Beyond Light for spawning crystals to spice it up. We wanted to have it give new benefits of Rally Barricade. And then Kevin Yanis, which is one of the sandbox leads, I'm pretty sure, suggested that its spawned objects could be a stasis version of a Rally Barricade window to be a ton of fun, and the rest is history. Yeah, it's a really cool thing. It's a big walls on the side, and you have a shorter wall kind of in the middle so you can shoot through. And then if enemies are slowed around it, it really is kind of a big benefit to set up some defense. Warlocks, these look fantastic. You guys also get some very cool looking stuff. I'll talk about them legs. The new Secant Filaments armor. With the Devouring Rift perk, these shiny walking sticks of power will grant a player Devour when they cast their Empowering Rift. So when you cast your Empowering Rift, you have Devour. You can already have the Child of the Old Gods, where you get the Void Soul, where if you're doing damage while you're standing in Empowering Rift, you get healing, allowing for damage from both allies and individual players, the ability to disrupt foes, but in style. And then, of course, you're going to be healing back all the time from the fact that you can be devoured, healing from Children of the Old Gods. You've got a lot of survival there with a kind of a very, very healing devour build. This start is, what can we give Warlocks that would make Empowering Rift a more viable choice? Yeah, because most people don't run it. We figured the answer was, well, probably has to heal you, and eventually we settled on what would be called Devouring Rift Pants. Overload was added to increase excitement and expand the options players have to build into various champion-enabled content. Now you got your gauntlets. The Osteomancy gauntlets, these are the ones that basically give an additional Cold Snap grenade. And also, okay, let me read this. This nifty look allows for Cold Snap grenades to have an additional charge that will recharge faster when it makes direct impact. The Seeker spawn from Cold Snap grenades travels further as well, so bonus. You get Cold Snap grenades, you have 2, they're better Seekers, and you get a bit faster recharge if you get direct impact, I guess, so good luck aiming that thing. Hunters. I still have love for you despite the jokes. You've got some pretty cool gear on the way. The Blight Ranger helm and the Voltaic mirror. Lightning Lovers, here's where your arc powers can truly shine. This perk allows players to redirect with their arc staff to deal an increased amount of damage and orbs of power generation for your allies. Basically, get in there, do some damage, sounds like a good time. We wanted to make something for Arc Strive that leaned into the aspect of a super that doesn't normally get the focus. There are players that love wielding other people's attacks, creatures, game pieces, etc. The cool part is now you have guardians that are going to potentially be throwing stuff at you as supers. So if you can bounce those back, you actually have some very good potential to do a lot of damage. It does seem a little situational, but if you have multiple of those coming at you and you can reflect a lot of damage back, that actually seems like it's got some potential. I feel like this still feels like a weak super in my opinion. I will have to see it in action to see how powerful it actually is. These are the Hunter Gauntlets as well. Have the Renewal Grasps to look forward to with the Depths of the Duskfield perk. This gives Guardians a much larger radius for their Duskfield grenades, while also nerfing incoming damage for allies within the Duskfield range. So the grenade is bigger. Incoming damage is less while you're in the Duskfield's range. Any targets locked within that space will also deal out a reduced amount of damage, so go out there and make those Hive cry. Stasis Hunters now have a sort of mini Silence and Squall that they can deploy with a grenade. This gives Revenants the ability to play more team-focused or more of an area denial control game than before. So it sounds like if you're standing in the Rift, you're going to take reduced damage, and anything in the grenade Duskfield, and then anything in there will also deal reduced damage, and also probably should be working on being slowed if they're standing in the Duskfield. So it's going to make Duskfield kind of more of a support crowd control situation. Doesn't seem bad, actually. But I will say, of the exotics I've seen here, Hunters, you get good ones quite a bit. I don't think the Hunters won the exotic battle, in my opinion, personally. The Worms at Bungie. So here's your release schedule. I also wonder if they're going to ever tell us when the damn season ends, but not yet. To prepare for the launch of Witch Queen on February 22nd, Destiny 2 will undergo scheduled downtime from 7 o'clock Pacific time on February 21st to 9 a.m. Pacific on February 22nd. That's when the game actually launches. So the big thing to note here is Hotfix will be playable on all platforms when it launches. You have 14 hours of downtime. 2 hours after servers go down, you should be able to preload Witch Queen. So if you have PlayStation especially, you need to do that copying mess. Whether you need to stay up late, make sure it starts downloading and copying, or get up early and make sure it does. You should have some time, but depending on what time zone you're in, do it before you go to bed, or set an alarm, do it in the middle of the night, and then go back to bed. Make sure, players using PS4 download with the Destiny 2 will be required to download the associated PS4 compatibility packs before playing Witch Queen for the first time. These compatibility packs can be downloaded by launching Destiny 2 after preloading hotfix during the downtime period. So make sure if you're on PlayStation, you boot up Witch Queen or Destiny 2 after the hotfix is there, so it can kind of get those compatibility packs going. They are working on some interesting stuff for PlayStation as well. But yeah, PlayStation especially, get that thing preloaded and done. As we are taking extended downtime prior to Witch Queen launch, players looking to earn the following Bungie rewards should complete the associated in-game achievement before the servers go down. All of these. Twitch gift subs bounty. On February 22nd, the gift subs bounty rewards will be updated with Witch Queen. Players who look to obtain the current Dresden emblem should complete the Twitch gift sub bounty before the 21st. So on February 22nd, if you're one who wants to get one of the new emblems for gifting 2 subs to the Destiny community, usually somebody has to be streaming Destiny 2, have the Bungie extension active, and then if you gift 2 subs to their channel, you'll get an emblem. I'll be streaming a lot, so feel free to come do it in my channel, but any channel will work. Weapon cycling. With the launch of Destiny Witch Queen, certain activities, quests, destinations, it basically is everything being vaulted, deprecated, unearnable content. Go check it out. I've covered it before, but anything with regards to basically the past year, seasonal activities, all that stuff's going away. Once more with the feelings. Now we've got more intros and stuff. Can't really watch those videos. Sorry to hit the pause on a sweet tweet, but wanted to talk more about something before we moved on. Moving forward, all contributors to Movie of the Week or any community emblem must be listed in the description at the creation time is selected. Any contributors not present will not be considered for the emblem. So if you have a team that builds a video or a piece of art or anything, have them all listed in the description. That's pretty much all they're saying. Very cool art from the community as always. While not the beefy boy TWAB last week was, we figured a nice recap would do well since we had much to cover. Seeing everyone's excitement after the ViDoc went live was a whirlwind for the team, causing a rush of joy and excitement and completely take over the studio. We have so much we can't wait to show you and tell you. One more light TWAB, and the light TWAB is most likely going to cover Gambit next week, left until Witch Queen arrives. And then it's all about to go down. Are you ready? So that is the TWAB. Void 3.0 sounds very, very exciting. Legendary campaign. If you can get it done at any point before you get to that 1520 power level, getting a full set of armor at 1520 is huge, especially if you can save those powerful and Pinnacle Engram, that grind before you hit 1520 and then start that grind. That will be huge. So that's probably the 2 biggest pieces of information. If you guys enjoyed this one, drop a like below. Leave a comment if there's anything I didn't mention or skipped over a little too quickly. You guys can find me on Twitter. Streamed this thing on Twitch live. Shout out to chat for all being here. All of you guys, thank you. If you want to find me on Twitch, it's Ebontis over there. But right here on YouTube, if you enjoyed this one, subscribe to the channel, hit the alert bell. I'm going to have a just constant stream of videos coming to you guys for guides and anything helpful I can give you for Witch Queen. So stay tuned. If you want to support me directly, join the channel as a member or find my Patreon in the description. All of you channel members and Patreons, thank you for your support. See you soon.